The night stepper is graceful and sure-footed. There are some who think it beautiful with its long body and perfect curves. Others find it hideous. Its ears are too big, they say. Its naked skin, too naked. I've not yet created the night stepper, but I've got a feel for it. I know that it comes out at night and that there are feline elements to its body and to the way it moves. It's hairless, but its skin is very dark to help it blend in, and it's small, no larger than an ocelot, so there's a delicate quality for us to be mindful of. This is exciting. Getting that first sense of a thing feels good. We've got all these images in our head of what this thing could look like, and I, for one, am excited to dive in and start sketching. But before we charge in, guns blazing, drawing ears and noses and skin wrinkles, before we even dive into the nitty-gritty of anatomy, we have to zoom out and focus on silhouette. And before we can define our silhouette, we need to resolve the very first question on our list. What is this creature's personality? Well, the words we've chosen are cunning and nervous. The word cunning, to me, hints at curvature, a deceptive hiding from the light, a subtlety of form. Its lines will be graceful, long and slender. Eventually, we'll build in flourishes to make it unique and memorable. In other words, we'll make it iconic. Perhaps some special evolutionary trait that reinforces the night stepper's devious nature. Now, the word nervous makes me think of delicate shapes, tapered limbs, and smaller bones. Something nervous is likely to move slowly, carefully, wary of the slightest movement. The night stepper is skittish. It cleaves to the shadows for safety, and yet it should be able to sprint and pounce at the drop of a hat. To that end, I'm thinking we'll make this thing skinny, with long legs and a springy silhouette. Too many cunning curves and the night stepper will look languid and content. That's a tempting direction to head in, after all. Who doesn't love the cool, relaxed vibe of the Cheshire Cat? But that's not the night stepper. Side note, I'm thinking that it should have ears that can swivel. Nervous things are very sensitive to changes in their environment, and this creature will be listening very closely. As I paint these silhouettes, you should know that there are a few creatures that I'm looking at. The first is the Sphinx cat. I just love them, and they sit right at the intersection of creepy and beautiful. Plus, they'll provide us with that slinky feline base. The next few are creatures of the night, like the loris, the fennec fox, the Indian civet, and a few different types of bat. I'm choosing these creatures in part because of their interesting looks, and in part because the night stepper makes a life for itself in the jungle, among the roots and giant ferns and endless tiers of canopy. Once we find a promising silhouette, we'll refocus our efforts and draw from a much larger pool of options. We're building creatures of fantasy, after all, and we don't want to limit ourselves. I've been pondering ways to add a little reptile into the mix as well, with a prehensile chameleon tail, for instance, or the streamlined abdomen of a crested gecko, or maybe with a plated iguana skull. But I'm also thinking bird. With feathers, you see, the night stepper could glide, or attract a mate, or appear as something much larger than itself. There's possibility there. Now, a small head creates the impression of a large creature, while a proportionally larger head tells our mammalian brains that this creature is small and young. It's not a lion, it's a kitten. Now, I won't push these aspects too hard. The night stepper is not a kitty. It's a cunning and mysterious jungle hunter. But by adding a dab of kitten paint, we've sweetened the pot and added a flavor guaranteed to elicit an emotional reaction from our audience. The top 4 results. The results were quite informative. People responded to the more feline silhouettes, and in general loved the big ears, the tail, and the snout. So, I combined these elements and created this, our final silhouette. I'm into this one for a number of reasons. It's got curves, a prowling feline poise, and a long mobile neck. Its body is sinuous, as we intended, with a high and anxious arch to its spine. The cat-shaped skull is embellished with the nose of a bat. The ears are inflated, and we've incorporated that long, prehensile tail, which could act as a fifth leg and hold the creature steady as it moves through the trees. I'm happy with the curving shapes and the way they work together. When curves operate in tandem like this, the feeling we get is of grace and movement, and that's sort of what the night stepper is all about. Our next step will be to fill in our silhouette with a bit of detail. We need to know if this silhouette actually works, anatomically speaking, and if it will need adjustments. Spoiler alert, it usually does. Because the primary animal reference here is the Sphinx cat, we'll reference feline anatomy. That means scouring the internet for cat skeletons and musculature. The anatomical structure is the ideal place to start. If our creature's anatomy isn't based on real-life anatomy, things will start looking wonky and wrong really quickly. Our understanding of muscle structure and anatomy will also inform our design planning. Think of superhero costumes and the way they conform to the muscular builds of the heroes who wear them. This is not a coincidence. It's practical. Designing around joints and muscles improves flexibility and wearability. Where must this outfit fold, and how? Where can there be decoration, and where will that decoration get in the way? And remember that whether you're designing for games or movies, these creatures will eventually have to be rigged and animated, which means that the sculpture needs to allow for real movement. Believe me, you never want to incur the wrath of your animator. The Night Stepper's interior anatomy must inform its exterior design. It's at this meeting point of form and function that the best ideas come about. In this case, I'm emphasizing that bowed, curving silhouette with a bowed and curving layer of feathers. Yes, I've decided on feathers, because scales would interfere with the touchability factor, and I want this creature to appeal. Do you know why many animals, including fish, have a paler underbelly? It's to counteract the light coming from above and reduce the visibility of a thing. If an object is darker at the top where the light is hitting, and paler on the bottom where there is shadow, well then the values start to blend together and our eyes get confused. As a tiger stalks through the jungle's light, the stark contrast of its stripes ruptures the tiger's silhouette. The random striping of light and dark mixed with the dapple shadows of vegetation, and when that image hits the eye, the whole thing just sort of falls apart. Those patterns, those stripes which appear so beautiful to us, compose the tiger's mask of invisibility. Mask. Think about that word. As we go forward in this course, pay special attention to the ways in which this distribution of light and dark, this value patterning, can affect the eye and the way the creature is perceived. By using regions of light and dark, we are in effect reorganizing the way visual information reaches the brain. The strategic placement of light and dark coloring can make something read as more sharp or angular or soft than it really is. In the makeup world, they call this contouring. As we add color, however, that design will shift a bit, because color, and the difference in value that comes with it, will add another layer of complexity. That means that as we add more hues to our image, we'll need to do so with care lest we disturb our foundation. With the skin, let's start subtle. We'll keep it very desaturated and add in just a hint of that fleshy warm pink. As we color the feathers, we'll go just a bit darker and a little bluer. Blue is a so-called cool color, and when we lay warm colors against cool colors, we create visual drama. As we proceed, we'll dial up the drama, like a radio DJ dialing up the volume on a song. In the areas of greatest interest, that pale pink skin will get paler and pinker, and those feathers will get darker and bluer. We've found our silhouette and have a decent sense of this creature's anatomy. We've identified a particular shape language. The Night Stepper is not boxy or sharp, but curving and slinky. In identifying our major animal influences, which include sphinx cats, ravens, pigs, bats, and chameleons, we've chosen a number of iconic elements: blackish feathers and naked skin, huge satellite ears, an unusual flower-like nose, and a prehensile tail. We've zoomed in on the face and gotten a sense of just who the Night Stepper really is. We knew from the outset that the creature's personality would be cunning and nervous, and yet it feels now like something more, something individual and unique. And we've established a limited color scheme, a balance of warm and cool colors, with the emphasis on the cool end of the spectrum. That's it. You guys, I hope you enjoyed this portion of the Night Stepper's development. I really enjoyed making this adorable little critter, and I've got plans for them, which involve casting and other things. A collaboration with Sketchfab, perhaps. We'll see. So yeah, a reminder, this was just a portion of something much larger. My course, Chimera, a Creature Design Masterclass, is available on my website, jonahloeb.com, or on Gumroad. The links are available down below in the description. Whether or not you check those out, however, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Guys, do it. Ring the bell. I am building something really fun, really exciting this year, and I'm building it with you. I really need you to be a part of it. I think we're gonna have a tremendous time. So like, subscribe, do all the things, and leave a comment below and let me know what you'd like to see next, because we're going places. Thanks so much.